Welcome to our Your Live Event Central Cass State Wrestling Tournament preview, as it was a banner last couple of weeks here for the Squirrels. On the girls' side, they won the first ever East Region Dual Championship in Carrington. Then this past weekend in Grand Forks, they also won the individual championship as well. The Central Cass Squirrels come into the dual portion, going up against the number 4 seed from the West in Bismarck Century on Saturday morning at 10 a.m., while they are the number 1 seed from the East and Central Cass. We'll have all 3 duels for you right here on yourliveevent.com for the audio-only portion of our coverage for the girls. Now, on the boys' side, same thing. Region 2, they went up to Harvey for the dual champs, and they went back-to-back in that category. Then in Hillsborough this past weekend, they won the individual tournament championship as well. On the dual side for the boys, Central Cass is the number 4 seed, and they go up against number 5 seed Northern Lights on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. as well. We will have audio-only portion coverage for you through the duels as well on the boys' side starting on Saturday morning. Here is our Central Cass tournament preview with some of the wrestlers on the dual teams for both the girls and the boys here on yourliveevent.com. Joining us from the Central Cass Squirrels now is Anna White. And Anna, for you guys to win the East Region Dual Championship and come out on top in Carrington, just kind of take us through your experience and what was that like, coming out on top as region champs?
I feel like it was really awesome because that was one of my goals for the season, is to at least make it to state, and coming together as a team was just amazing. I love our team. We work together so well, and I just find the opportunity really amazing.
And how long have you been a wrestler, Ava? And what kind of just got, excuse me. Ava was the last one. I'll re-ask that question in 3, 2. How long have you been a wrestler here, Anna? And then just kind of what got you out into wrestling?
This is my 2nd year wrestling for Central Cass, and I think what got me into it was my friend Grace Lamar, because I was a 6th grader when the team first started, and I thought it was amazing that she did it. And if I was old enough, I probably would have joined, but I think she really inspired me to join.
And then since you've joined, what's 1 or 2 things that you've kind of learned from wrestling?
I think being humble about what you're doing has really helped me, because I win a lot of matches, but when I lose, I need to be humble, and I try my hardest to be humble all the time. And I think I also learned a lot about good sportsmanship, because I meet so many people and I become friends with so many people, and sometimes you have to wrestle your friends, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, and you mentioned wrestling your friends. Do you have that both when you're sparring during the week and then when you're actually going up against other competition on the weekend here, Anna?
Yeah, I definitely do.
And then what makes it so much fun to wrestle a friend? Even though I know it probably can be a little tough, but what makes it so much fun to maybe talk about the match, a day or 2 later, or just, kind of go over? What makes it fun going up against a friend?
I think that the idea of it's your friend, no matter if you win or lose, you will still be friends with them. Especially my friend Keely Kanoa from Mandan, for sure. I love her so much.
And how excited are you to get to the Fargo Dome and have an opportunity here? Central Cass Girls Wrestling obviously has had a bullseye on its back for the last year and a half here, Anna, but how excited are you to get back to the Fargo Dome?
I'm so excited. It's just amazing, the opportunity that we all get to go out there and wrestle.
What's last thing, favorite wrestling memory in 2 years for you all time? What would that be?
I think state championship last year at the Fargo Dome. I think that was my favorite memory. I saw a lot of people. I got to meet a lot of people, and I got to wrestle my hardest and show what I can do.
Anna, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Join us now from the Central Cass Squirrels on our state wrestling preview. Here is Anthony Woolen. Anthony, I've been asking a lot of guys the same question. Region 2 dual champs to start with here. You got back to the Fargo Dome from the dual side. What does that mean to go back-to-back in Region 2?
Oh, it's just great. It's a great feeling to come back to being the underdogs last year and coming back and winning it against Carrington.
And then at the end of the day, you're able to go to state. What makes these wrestling tournaments so much fun once you get to February, understanding that, hey, there's maybe a little bit more on the line and finding ways to get yourself to the dome? What is wrestling in February kind of like compared to November and December here, Anthony?
Well, the matches count a lot more for sure. So you want to do your best. You want to be at your best. Want to be like healthy and ready to go.
What is your favorite wrestling memory of all time?
Definitely last year in region duels when we won against Carrington. One of our teammates had a really close match. He pinned him, and just the gym was just ecstatic. It was crazy.
It's one of those deals where we just kind of feel like you get to a gym and there's 2 or 3 mats. Now you get to the Fargo Dome where there's 8 mats. So how much fun is it from a wrestler having an opportunity to be in front of the entire state here coming up at the Fargo Dome?
Oh, I love it. I love being in front of everybody because it's just going out there and competing in a giant dome is just, there's no other feeling like it.
Is someone asks you, Anthony, says, hey, why are you a wrestler, or why should I try out? What would be a reason or 2 that you would say, 1, they should try it, and 2, what kind of just drew you to the sport?
Well, my dad always wanted me to be in it because it builds character. It really helps you in life.
And at the end of the day here, Anthony, all the tournaments that you have throughout the year, whether it's the Lettermans, whether it's Storehog, East West, State, there's so many really good ones across North Dakota. What's one that you want to compete at? What's one that you would like to have a high finish and, try to finish on the podium?
Well, what I wanted to finish at was first, but in the Lettermans, I got 5th. I didn't do too bad, but that's the one I wanted to do really good in because it's in front of the home crowd.
Anthony, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cast Squirrels, that is Ava Golicson. And Ava, to win an East Region Championship dual tournament out in Carrington, what did that mean for you in this program?
It was awesome. So I'm a first-year athlete in this sport, and it was super exciting. Everybody was just in the best mood. It was a little nerve-wracking at the beginning, but then it was really fun at the end.
What made you want to get out to wrestling? You mentioned it was your first year. So what made you ultimately come out to wrestle this season?
I have no idea. Last year I had a foreign exchange student who wrestled, and she really liked it. So I thought I'd give it a try.
And what have you learned so far in the first year, whether it's wrestling on the mat or just what's something you might take away from, the 8 to 5, so to speak, part of your day?
It's hard. Really hard. I already knew going into it that it was going to be hard, but once I started the running and the lifts and the hour of mat work, it's hard. It's a hard sport.
So how much are you looking forward to at the duels to be part of the team and, be on the mat in the Fargo Dome, wrestling in front of the rest of the state?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I love wrestling with this team. They're like my favorite people. And you always feel way less nervous when you're wrestling with your team, and it's just a great environment.
So what has been a memory that stuck out for you this year here, Ava?
Memory that has stuck out would probably be all of our bus rides, because we had to go all the way to Minot and Carrington and Lisbon. Like, we're always together. So just hanging out with them has been fun. That's a good memory.
Final thing for you, the excitement level. What's it going to be like once you get into the Fargo Dome? How excited are you going to be as a wrestler? And then also understanding you need to kind of, wrangle the emotions in and get ready to do your job on the mat. But how fun and excited are you?
I am so excited. We had the Rumble there, so I'm thinking they're going to be kind of similar, and the Rumble was a fun tournament as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time and best of luck here, Ava, throughout the state wrestling tournament.
Thank you.
Joining us from the Central Cast Squirrels, it is Brady Peterson now on our state preview show. And Brady, how fun is it to go back to state here with back-to-back Region 2 dual champions?
I mean, not as exciting as last year with Grady Link's pin, but it's definitely a really exciting thing because we were really close to all those seniors. So to see them get this final hurrah would be really nice for them. So
is it safe to say that was one of your favorite memories too, when Grady got the pin in wrestling all time?
Oh man, I might have lost a couple of hairs, maybe a few years off my life, but I mean, it was worth it, And then this year, people are saying that I iced the duel for that pin because the previous match Josiah couldn't get one. So then I went out and pinned my guy, and that ended it. So it was kind of exciting.
And at the end of the day, how long have you been wrestling, and what kind of got you into wrestling here, Brady?
I've been wrestling since I've been in kindergarten. I kind of thought wrestling to be something fun, like me and my dad would be like, "Oh, great, I'm gonna throw you on the bed here and whatever." I thought that was what we were gonna be doing. Shock to the system, no. First day getting slammed on the mat, it's like, this is not what I expected. But I've stuck around, wanting to win, and then in high school, it just got even better where I realized that, I can actually get really good at this. So, and then here we are today, and I'm one of the top wrestlers at 126.
And Brady, at the end of the day here, when you're able to get to this time of the year, what makes it so much fun from a wrestler point of view compared to, 2-3 months ago or even a month ago?
The daunting task of when you start wrestling, that's like, oh geez, we have 3 months of this. It sounds terrible to any sane person, but I'm an insane person. I wrestle. So and then the thing is, you have to stay motivated the entire time. But I had a concussion 2 weeks ago at a home duel against Oaks. So that gave me the breathing room and realized like, oh shoot, I need to finish. I'm missing out on wrestling that can get me better. I need to truly get in the game here. And so that breathed new motivation to me, because lots of people, when they see the end of the light of the tunnel, they're going to start losing that motivation to keep going. But I kind of had a revelation where I just need to go out and finish, and then whatever work I did will give me what I earned.
But final thing for you, Brady, before we let you go, just take us through, once you get to this time, we kind of mentioned, what does it mean? But when you're able to wrestle at state or wrestle at a region duel or region individual tournament, how much fun is it from your point of view just to get there and know the combination of the hard work, as you kind of mentioned, is paying off for your opportunity to showcase your talents on the mat?
I mean, seeing all the people that you've worked with the entire season and all of them cheering for you on the mat, no matter if you're winning, losing, and then you got everyone in the stands and they're going crazy. It's something surreal. Because in like any other sport, team sports like baseball or football, everyone can be going crazy or whatever, but that's for the team. All the pressure is put on you, and it's something different. It's like, oh, you could cheer for the team, but they're cheering for me, and that's like mind-blowing to think about. And then going to state, it's even more crazy because you have all those stands filled out, all the mats going. It's chaotic, but in my mind, it's like this is good chaos. I like this. I want this. And it's every time I go to state, every time I go to regional, it's just, it feels good to be there. I mean, win or lose, it's an experience you're always going to remember.
Brady, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck here at the Fargo Dome as well, coming up for the state tournament.
Alrighty, thank you so much for having me.
Join us now from the Central Cast Squirrels. That is Brandon Preston. And Brandon, always has to be fun. Twice as nice as they say, back-to-back region duel. Let's recap it here as I have a tongue twister. Too many interviews. All right, here we go. Part 2, 3, 2. Join us now. Here is Brandon Preston from the Central Cast Squirrels, and able to go back-to-back in Region 2 for duels. And first things first, what does it mean to go back-to-back and win that dual championship up in Harvey?
It means for my team to really come out and work hard, knowing that since we won last year, that everybody's going to be coming for us, and just handling that the way we did. It's really just what we needed to do.
Brandon, at the end of the day, what just kind of drew you to the sport? Why did you become a wrestler and able to stick with it for so long?
I'm a very physical person. I love contact sports, and this sport just teaches you so much about yourself and people. Really, it just teaches you like hard work and just a lot of good life skills.
Favorite wrestling memory of all time? What kind of comes to mind?
I definitely have to say last year's region championship. We came into it nobody expected us to win it. Probably some of us didn't expect it ourselves, and we just went in and we wrestled well, and we came out with the championship. That was probably my favorite memory.
And Brandon, when you're able to compete on the mat, just take us, what kind of goes through your mind once you hit the mat? What's kind of going through your mind as a wrestler when you got, one-on-one, it's just you two out there, and what's kind of going through your mind to try to, get the opportunity to come out with a pin or at least come out with a win on top?
I'd say for me personally, it just kind of evaluating the person I'm wrestling with, like just see how they move, like what I might be able to set up for myself, easy things that I can do well that I might be able to do against that person. Probably that's what I mostly think about.
Dual and individual, which one is more fun from your point of view? Because you still both have your opportunity as an individual to wrestle, but on the dual side, I know you probably have to keep your hat in the zone, but you're also cheering on your teammates maybe a little bit more so. So what's the biggest difference from a wrestler point of view between those two?
Really between the duels, you really have to think about, okay, well, we're all a team now. If you do well, then we can all continue just to build off of that and continue to do well. And individual, it's all right, this is for me. I know what I got to do, and I got to do it well.
Last thing for you here, Brandon, if someone had to ask you to be a wrestler, what would your response be to at least give it a shot, or at least come out and go out there for a week or two and just kind of see if this might be something for you?
I would definitely tell them to do it. I would say it's not a easy sport by any means, but it's definitely worth it. You learn so much, and it is a really good time.
Brandon, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck here at State.
Thank you.
Part of our state wrestling coverage, joining us now is Brianna from the Central Cass Squirrels wrestling team. And Brianna, to win a East Region title here for the girls side, what did that mean out in Carrington to come away on top?
It was pretty tense. It was fun though. That was the main thing, that it was fun and to show that we can do anything.
And to see this program continue to evolve, it just seems like year after year, we're seeing some fresh faces come into the program and have an opportunity to be part of this program that has already pretty high standards on a couple amount of years here, Brianna. What does that mean just to kind of see this continue to evolve and just finding ways to get better on the mat?
I think it's impressive of how many girls come out to wrestle, and it's really cool to meet new people while wrestling, and it's fun learning new techniques on the mat.
What got you into wrestling? What was the reason? What was the pitch?
So last year during Letterman's tournament, I went to watch my friend Mallory DeVries, and I loved it, and she was like, "You should join." And I'm like, "But it's already starting." She's like, "It doesn't matter. You should just join." And I joined.
So how much have you learned from wrestling in about that 1 year then so far here?
I would say a lot. I've improved so much.
What is the one move that you like, whether it's sparring or whether it's on the mat? What's something that, is a move that you've kind of said, okay, I think I've been able to master this to a degree where I can, throw that out there during a mat?
I'd probably say double legs. That's one thing I go for every time.
And then how fun and exciting was Carrington this past weekend, just being in that atmosphere and that environment to, be part of obviously a region champ, but just to compete and also, cheer on your family and friends?
We wrestled them the week before, which was pretty good because we won. So then we kind of had an idea of what we were going against. And then my person that I went against, Kylie Scadwell, she did beat me the next day at Bell of the Brawl. So I'd like to say that ours is pretty even. And just the fact that I beat her, it felt pretty good.
Thanks so much for your time here, and best of luck at State at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
Join us from the Central Cass Squirrels wrestling team is Colson Stalling. Colson, it's got to be a lot of fun to get to the month of February here and know what's kind of on the horizon, but how fun was it to win another dual championship up in Harvey here for this program?
It was pretty fun. It's nice to see your hard work pay off.
And at the end of the day, how long have you been in wrestling, and what kind of got you into wrestling?
This is my second year in wrestling, and I joined because the football coaches said it would make you a better football player. So.
And have you kind of seen that a little bit, the two sports intermixing a little bit?
Yeah, I would say so.
And Colson, at the end of the day here, how fun is it for this program and for yourself to have an opportunity to get to the Fargo Dome and compete at state?
It's pretty fun. It's just another just a good way to see how your work has paid off. At the end of the year.
And in your 2 years here, what's kind of your favorite memory all time?
Probably winning it last year, just because it was an exciting match to end it.
And just kind of take us through that excitement, just take us through that emotion, kind of where you're at. You were talking about last season.
Well, so last year we were the 3 seed going into state, and then I think it was tied or we were down, and then Grady got a pin to win it, so then it was just I don't know, it was just fun, and I don't know, nice to see a teammate win it and do put the team on his back almost.
Hey, Colson, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at state at the Fargo Dome upcoming.
All right, see.
Joining us now from the Central Cast Squirrels is Garrett Hogan. And Garrett, I've started a lot of conversations with the other guys here, back-to-back Region 2 dual champs to get back to the state tournament. What does that mean from your point of view in this program?
Oh, it's real fun. We did it as a team. It was a team goal this year, and we just set our minds. We had to accomplish it going back to back. That's even better. And it's just been fun being with the team and everything.
And speaking of fun, what's a favorite wrestling memory that just kind of sticks out or comes to mind during your time here at Central Cast?
Oh, probably last year's Region 2 champion when it came down last match against Carrington. That's probably the most fun I've ever had on the mat, watching that happen.
Just kind of take us through that moment. A lot of guys have said the same thing here, Garrett, just the electricity, the atmosphere, just once the move happened and how you were able to win, just kind of take us through that moment.
Well, started out, he kind of played with us a little. He didn't know he was going to get thrown. He threw the other guy. He just had to make it not obvious who was going to win. And then once he finished him off with a pin there, it was just crazy. Everybody was jumping up and down, screaming, hugging people. It was just real fun place to be.
Take us through, if someone has asked you, why do you wrestle or why should I wrestle? What's been some of the conversations about, being a wrestler and this sport that you've had with someone who's maybe never given it a try or kind of asking, why you're a wrestler here?
Oh, well, one of my favorite things of being a wrestler is being able to push myself every day. I'm always getting better, always wanting to get better is a big one, pushing myself, see how far I can go, and then do it again the next day, see if I can go further. It's just builds your work ethic. It's just and then the team you're with, it's probably one of the strongest connections you're going to have with the team in any sport. And it's just all good things.
Final thing for you, Garrett, there's so many really good tournaments out there, whether it's the Lennerman's, East West, name your tournament here in North Dakota. And then obviously once we get to February, all the postseason tournaments. What's one or two of them that you like to compete in at the most during your time?
Oh, well, my favorite one, gotta be the state one because, it's in the dome. That's pretty cool. It's just the environment there, the people you're around. It's just a fun place to be. And then another, I gotta say, Letterman's, wrestling at your home, at a home tournament, it's just something else. You don't get to do it very often. It's just something I look forward to.
Hey, Garrett, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at state.
Thank you.
From the Central Cast Squirrels girls wrestling program now is Isabel Dutt. And Isabel, take us through Carrington, winning an East Region Dual Championship. How much fun was that for you to be a part of and to be there and just kind of see the excitement?
Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. Honestly, it was one of the best things I've ever been a part of. It was so much fun.
And now you get to the Fargo Dome here before we talk about state. How long have you been a wrestler and just kind of what made you want to go out and give wrestling a try here, Isabel?
So this is my first year wrestling, and a couple of friends and Travis Lamar, they wanted me to join wrestling, and I figured, why not give it a shot?
So once you gave it a shot, what have you learned here in the last couple of months?
Oh gosh, I've learned a lot. It's really boosted my confidence. It's made me a lot happier, and it's just taught me so much about daily life, made everything easier.
So at the end of the day, if someone had to ask, why should you join wrestling? What would be a reason after kind of experiencing it now the last couple of months here? If someone is kind of worried or teeter-tottering 50-50, what would be a reasoning or two that you would kind of give to them?
Life lessons. You learn so many life lessons from this sport. Like I said, it makes everything easier. After wrestling, everything just seems like a piece of cake.
Favorite memory so far on the mat this year would be, what kind of comes to mind?
I like the jungles personally. I like being able to wrestle everyone and learn so much from my peers. They're amazing wrestlers and I like learning from them.
And take us through the sparring and take us through a daily practice. What is that kind of like for you guys?
We warm up and go through the basics like drilling and whatnot, and then we usually do some live, and that's about it.
And then when you guys are able to get to the Fargo Dome here in a little bit, how excited are you to be having an opportunity to be on the mat with, 7 other mats going on at the same time and being able to wrestle at the Fargo Dome?
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but I'm super excited. I'm ready for it.
Hey, Isabel, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at state.
Yeah, thank you.
As we continue on our Central Cass Squirrel Wrestling State Tournament preview, joining us now is Jordan Flynn. And Jordan, let's recap what happened in Carrington, able to be a region champ. And girls wrestling has just blossomed out. Do we have so many more teams compared to a couple of years ago? But what does it mean from your point of view to be a region champ here as you get ready for the state wrestling tournament?
Being a region champ definitely, I think, helped bring our team closer together and definitely made us feel very confident going into state. Top 4 teams did get a go, but coming out on top, definitely.
And then how have you seen the program? I know girls wrestling has just been one of those, it's like wildfire. It seems like we're seeing more teams, we're seeing more opportunities for girls wrestling, but how have you seen it at Central Cass here the last couple of years and try to sustain that level of success that we've seen here in Castleton?
We've seen more girls just coming out, giving it a try, maybe coming in for a week, deciding if they like it, maybe take a couple of weeks off, come back, realize that they missed it. And it's been really awesome to just watch the girls progress and get better throughout the year.
What is a reason someone should try wrestling, to your point, whether they give it a shot for a week or maybe, have that opportunity? We've seen some dual athletes be wrestlers and basketball players before in Central Cass, but what's the main reason why someone should potentially consider wrestling?
Honestly, just the environment. Like, it is a family. We all get along so well, and it's just a blast to be a part of. Like, you become your best version of yourself.
Jordan, favorite wrestling memory that comes to mind, where does that stand out, or what's 1 or 2 that kind of come to mind when someone asks you about your favorite time on the mat?
Well, we all know Coach Lamar, and he always says, I won't hug you unless you win or something. And last year, my semis match, he told me beforehand if I won, he'd give me a hug. And then that hug was definitely one of my favorite memories ever.
It's one of those fun things you mentioned about the camaraderie and the sisterhood, the brotherhood that comes with it. If you kind of had to go through a little bit, what made wrestling stand out to you? What gave you the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, let's get in the gym, let's get on the mat and kind of see where this takes me, Jordan? What kind of stood out to you in your own personal experience?
My dad wrestled, so I had always loved the sport. And then a girls program opened up and I didn't know if I wanted to do it or not because I was still playing basketball at the time. And one of my friends said, go for it. You've always wanted to, why not? So that really was my big push to get on the mat.
And how fun is it to see this sport develop from the girls' side during the last couple of years here in the state?
It's insane. My first year wrestling, there was 50 girls at the unofficial state. And then last year, just a ton of girls. And then this year, the numbers are just higher and higher. And there's just so many more individual girl tournaments. It's just exciting to see where the sport's going.
Jordan, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck here coming up at the Fargo Dome as well.
Thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cass Squirrels, that is Lois Schneider here. And I've been asking whether it's been on the boys' side or the girls' side, able to come out with a region championship here, an East Region championship on the girls' side here, Lois. What does that mean for you in this program?
I'm just really excited to get to stay with my team and have my team alongside with me because I have an amazing team and they're really nice and fun and we make a lot of memories together.
How long have you been a wrestler and what kind of got you out into wrestling?
I've been in wrestling for 2 years now. I always kind of wanted to wrestle. At first, my mom was like, no, that's kind of, I don't think you would be good at it just because I was kind of wimpy when I was little. And now I was like, there's an opportunity to be a girl wrestler. So I took it and I don't regret it. It's so fun.
What's a memory or two in then the 2 years here, Lois, that comes to mind for you?
When we played Duck Duck Goose, it was just really crazy. It was really fun. We had Jaden, and she was just being Jaden. It was so funny.
Take us through a wrestler's mentality when you know that you're coming up and it's going to be your opportunity to get on the mat. What kind of gets you in the zone? What gets you in the rhythm before you finally get out on the mat?
Normally I stretch because I'm always tight in some way, and then I listen to some Kanye West or some music, and then I'm like kind of like just breaking it down. What do I want to do in this match? How am I going to accomplish that? Things to remember. Just try not to get in my head. Just like say like it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's not state and regionals, you know. There's a one winner, one loser, you know.
And then what makes February wrestling so much different from November, you know, December, January? What makes this time of the year so much fun from a wrestler's point of view?
It's fun because it gets a little bit warmer, and the daytime you can see after practice is just like kind of peaking up. Also, there's a lot more competition. Everybody's a lot more stronger. Every single time you wrestle, there's always a fight, and it's really fun because you just go back and forth, and whoever wants it more wins. So,
Hey, Lois, thanks so much for your time and best of luck coming up here at State at the Fargo Dome.
thank you.
Join us now from the Central Cast Squirrels. That is Mallory DeVries. And Mallory, able to go back to state. What does that mean for this program here on the dual side to, you know, get back to the Fargo Dome here for girls wrestling?
I don't get it. So I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, okay. I'll re-ask the question. Okay, Mallory. All right, here we go. Coming down with Mallory in 3, 2. Join us now from the Central Cast Squirrels. That is Mallory DeVries. And Mallory, to win an East Region Championship in Carrington. What was that kind of accomplishment like? And just take us through the environment and the atmosphere in Carrington when you guys knew that you were going to be the champs.
We were all very excited, and we're very happy to be able to go to state duels for the first year. But
And to be at state duels here, Mallory, what just makes a duels a little bit different, or maybe a little more fun compared to individuals when you have the whole team? What's dual wrestling kind of like from a wrestler's point of view?
it's a lot more fun because you're able to, it's like more of a team rather than tournaments where it's individual.
And how many years have you been wrestling, Mallory? And what kind of just got you into the sport? What made you want to become a wrestler?
This is my second year wrestling, and I was recommended to join, and I figured, why the heck not? It's my first year of high school.
And to your point there, Mallory, if someone has never wrestled before, what would be a reason after you've gone through it now for 2 years? What would be a reason they should come out?
I would say just to try new things.
And final thing for you, Mallory, what's your favorite memory all time so far, 2 years wrestling at Central Cass?
I would probably say state last year because the environment was amazing. Everyone was so nice, and we were able to make a lot of friends in the sport.
Mallory, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome again this season.
Thank you.
Part of our state wrestling preview here for the Central Cass Squirrels. Stone is joining us now, and Stone back-to-back Region 2 dual champs. How fun was that up in Harvey to come out on top again here on the dual side?
It was very fun. It's not quite as exciting as last year when we went in the 4 seed and ended up taking it all, but it was still very exciting to go in there, get business done, and obviously take home the title.
And for you guys at the end of the day, Stone, to get back to state, what does that mean for this program here from the dual side to get back to where you were last year here at the Fargo Dome?
Last year we went, we didn't get a really good turnout, but we went and we obviously wrestled hard. This year we're a lot better team skill wise. And I think we can get a lot more done this year.
And what is the favorite wrestling memory that comes to mind for you here, Stone?
Favorite wrestling memory from this year?
This year or all time for you?
Well, all time probably last year's region dual tournament because that was just crazy. Winning that when we weren't supposed to win. So
Yeah, we've heard that a lot from a lot of your other teammates here, Stone. How long have you been wrestling, and what kind of made you go out for the sport?
I've been wrestling since I was like 4 years old. My dad wrestled in high school. My uncle wrestled in high school. They were both pretty successful. So I started off at like a West Fargo Packer, and then I went to tech team, and then I ended up here. So it's been a lifetime thing for me. So
How much do you talk wrestling just on a day-to-day stuff then with your family and obviously your friends? When it's this time of the year, obviously wrestling's on everyone's mind, but how much do you talk about it throughout the season?
oh, family, it's a everyday thing. I can go home and we talk about practice, we talk about rankings in state, college stuff. Me and my dad will talk about all the time. My uncle sometimes will text me after my matches and give me pointers and stuff. So it's every day at my house.
Stone, when you're going on the mat, what kind of gets you in the zone beforehand, or what trying to gets you in that mindset to take care of business on the mat here, Stone?
I go on the mat thinking it's a war. If he wants to beat me, he's gonna have to try real hard. He's gonna have to go through a lot. But I know I'm gonna have to go through a lot too. So I go at it thinking it's a war and may the best man win. So
Hey, Stone, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome here for state.
all right, thank you.
Katie Sinner now joining us here from the Central Cass Squirrels. And Katie, let's just recap Carrington, able to come out with the East Region championship. What does that mean from your point of view?
It's awesome. I didn't get to wrestle the first two matches because we were trying to get some mat time for our other heavyweight, and yeah.
All right. Hey, Katie, I just lost you there for a moment. Do you got me okay? Just making sure.
What was that?
Can you hear me okay? It kind of froze for like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
there, so
now I can.
Okay, perfect. We'll just restart that question again. Okay, so here we go with Katie in 3, 2. Katie Sinner joining us now here from the Central Cass Squirrels, part of our state wrestling preview. And Katie, able to go to Carrington, able to win an East Region title. What does that mean from your point of view here with this program?
Our first two duels, I didn't get to wrestle because that was a little thing we had where if we were up by a lot, our other heavyweight would go in and do my matches for me. But then our last one, I got to wrestle and it was awesome. It's awesome to be the first East Region dual team champs.
And you've been able to be part of this program now for a little while here, Katie, and see its inception. What's it like from your point of view to see either younger girls or girls that maybe never really gave it a try until this year, to see this program continue to evolve and what we kind of see here from Central Cass Girls Wrestling?
Well, this year we just had a girl join like a couple days ago. So that's awesome. The numbers are growing way more than I thought they would. That's awesome. And then like our team, we have about 4 or 5 girls that have stuck with it from day one of our first year ever doing it. So that was awesome to see too.
What's your favorite memory comes to mind when you're on the mat?
My favorite memory was from state, our first year where it wasn't sanctioned quite yet. I beat Gracie Hoffman and I struggled. We went back and forth for the longest time for who would win. And I beat her at the state finals, and it was one of my favorite memories.
And this is going to be one to see this tournament continue to evolve from what you just mentioned, Katie, when it wasn't sanctioned to what it is now. How have you seen it from your point of view, grow, literally being in the sport, when every year it just seems like we're getting more and more teams and more wrestlers?
For me, my brackets have been super small, like 3 or 4 girls. And now this year, it's been the highest it's ever gotten is 16-man bracket.
So we've seen it to continue to grow. Katie, if someone has never done wrestling before and they ask you, why are you a wrestler and why should I, give it a shot? What would be a reason or two that you would tell them to give wrestling an opportunity?
My biggest reason is it helps me get better at my other sports like softball. I have seen big improvements from like even last year to this year. So just try it and do your best.
It's a lot of fun, and you mentioned softball here, Katie. What's the one correlation between wrestling and softball? What is that one thing that it's made you get better at? I know we talk about football and wrestlers, you're using your hands, obviously linemen, that makes sense. But from a softball point of view, what's one thing that you've learned from wrestling that's helped you, as you kind of allude to?
It gets you stronger. So like hitting, it really helps with hitting. Running, I know I've gotten faster just from joining wrestling. It's kind of just all the way around your strength.
Katie, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome here at the state wrestling tournament.
Thank you.
Join us now from the Central Cast Squirrels. That is Isabel Dutchuk. And Isabel, for you at the end of the day, region champs, East Region out in Carrington, to get that championship. What does that mean for you in this program?
Well, for me, that means that our team really pulled that together. Like, we worked amazing as a team, and that just shows that we don't only have just some of the best athletes, but we are the best team out there, and we work together to all get that championship, and that's what that means to me.
Do you feel like when you're sparring, when you're practicing throughout the week, that the other wrestler that's across from you in practice is maybe just as good as you are, and can kind of sharpen iron through iron, kind of speak throughout the week?
Yeah, I think like when you're sparring in practice with your teammates, you're like really grateful that we have so many good athletes and that I have the opportunity to practice with such other good athletes, because then we're both improving.
How long have you been a wrestler, and what kind of got you the opportunity to wrestle? What made you say, hey, let's give this a shot?
This is technically my first year wrestling. I tried it for like 1 week last year, and I've been a stat for like 5 years, so I just decided that I should start wrestling.
And what's been a favorite wrestling memory that comes to mind, whether it's been you part of the team or you actually wrestling, however works best for you, Isabel? What's 1 or 2 memories that come to mind?
My favorite memories is that every year at the end of the season, like after the state tournament, we always do like the end of the year team party, and we just gather together as a team and bond. And then Trav does these like gifts for the seniors, which are super funny because he like gets them like funny gifts that like relates to them.
So what is the biggest difference outside of you're on the mat competing, but what's the biggest difference from actually being a wrestler and competing to being part of the team and being a statistician? What's 1 or 2 things that you've kind of seen from your point of view?
I just like when I'm statting, I just love wrestling, and I just get so engaged while I'm watching the wrestling, and I'm like, this would be way more fun, because when I'm statting, I just kind of get bored, but I love watching the wrestling. And then when I'm wrestling at a tournament, I just am like busy the whole time, and I'm having so much more fun. Even if I'm not doing good, I just enjoy being there and being a part of the team wrestling, and not just being on the side cheering them on. I'm like involved with it too, and I can also be there to cheer on all my teammates.
All right, final thing, favorite wrestling move, whether it's to, work on a spar or try to do it on the mat. I'm not trying to give away your secrets here, Isabel, but at the end of the day, what's your favorite wrestling move?
Probably a knee pick.
I like it. Hey, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
Join us now from the Central Cast Squirrels. That is Mr. Kate Olsen-Tinglestead. And Kate, for you, first things first, Region 2 dual champs, able to go back-to-back here, able to go up to Harvey and earn that. First things first, what does that mean for the team to win Region 2 and get back to state from a dual side?
It's great. Everybody making it as a team is just something to look forward to, because, we made it last year and we didn't quite end up where we wanted to, but we got high hopes for this year, so we're ready for it.
And then at the end of the day, there's so many fun wrestling tournaments, throughout the Red River Valley, and it doesn't take you too far here on the eastern side of the state to go too far during the season and find some really good quality competition. Is there a tournament, whether it is state, whether it's a regional, whether it might be, the Letterman's jacket, is there one particular that kind of stands out more than others for you when you're on the mat?
I'd have to say state. State's just great. It's a lot of waiting here and there, but it's a good feeling, especially when you end up on the podium. It's a great feeling.
Take us through the state tournament, because the mats are going crazy. You're hearing whistles left and right. On one side, you're hearing, cheers. The other side, everyone's, paying attention to what's going on mat 7 compared to mat 1 across the way. But from a wrestler's point of view, what is the atmosphere? What is that 2-3 days like at the Fargo Dome?
For me, you barely ever see me walking around without my AirPods in, because I got them on noise canceling, and I'm just trying to zone myself in and not worry about anything else. So I mean, for me, it's just trying to lock in the whole time, stay focused, and work towards that goal.
Why should someone do wrestling or at least try it if they've never tried it before, whether it's, elementary, middle school, or maybe someone going into high school and, hey, you know what, they should give it a shot. What's the main reason someone should be a wrestler?
I mean, it's just great for family. I mean, we got great chemistry on our team. It's hard sport. It is, but I think that us beating on each other in practice and then being best friends right after practice is just something that you don't get in many other sports. So.
And then is there a particular move or two? I'm not trying to, give away the kitchen sink or what you're trying to do against your opposition, but has there been something that you've kind of said, okay, I feel like I can make this my own, over the years here, kid?
Yeah. I mean, legs, when I'm on top, I just put in legs. It's every time. Everybody expects it, but it doesn't matter. I still get them in, still works. So.
Final thing for you, Cade, before he lets you go, a favorite wrestling memory of all time. It doesn't matter if it's duels, individual, whether it's at state or maybe it was at a mid-season tournament. When someone asks you what's your favorite wrestling memory of all time, what kind of comes to mind?
I'd say the most memorable is definitely last year at state. State duels. We ended up losing against Carrington, but it was a tough duel all the way throughout, and it ended up with me at the end, and I lost at the end, but it was a good match, and it was a really good duel. So.
And we'll maybe go into some extra time here on a wrestling part. With that, did that kind of motivate you then going into this season a little bit to try to get back to state and have a similar opportunity coming, whether it was duels or individuals coming up here?
Yeah, definitely ending on that loss was definitely put a little hurt on me. So I've been working and putting that off season work in, and won't happen again.
Hey, Cade, thanks so much for your time and best of luck coming up here at the state wrestling tournament.
Thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cast Squirrels is Drew. And Drew, for you guys to go back up to Harvey and win a region duel, a championship, back-to-back seasons here. How fun was that? And what does that mean for this program?
Oh, it's pretty fun, just going back to back. And I think it means a lot. It gives us a lot of confidence going into state. And yeah.
And then how long have you been wrestling here, Drew? And then kind of what got you into wrestling a little bit?
This is my third year wrestling, and I used to play basketball, and I just kind of was sick of it, and I want to try something else. So I just thought, why not?
And then what have you learned during your time on the mat so far?
I've learned quite a bit, actually, just kind of a lot of confidence boost, and just all hard things come to an end. And yeah.
And for this squad to make it down to state, we kind of talked a little bit about it already, but the excitement level from a wrestler point of view, how excited are you to know that, hey, this team and have the opportunity to go back to the Fargo Dome and, try to get some business done?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think we can accomplish a lot this year. Last year was kind of we're just happy to be there, but we actually have some goals this year.
And for you, Drew, what is a favorite memory or two that kind of sticks out for you during your time wrestling?
Gosh, probably winning it last year is probably my favorite memory. Just the excitement.
So take us through that. Just take us kind of through everything that came from, top to bottom throughout that weekend.
Oh, well, it started off, we dueled Grafton. We won that one. And then we had Harvey next. That was a little tougher one. And Carrington, and they were tough. And it came down to the last match, and Grady Link got his pin, and we won it there.
Final thing for you, Drew, before you let you go. If someone asked you why are you a wrestler or why should I be a wrestler, what's kind of the reason why someone should, kind of give it a shot?
I think you learn a lot, and just like it helps you a lot later in life. You learn a lot of lessons from it.
Drew, thanks so much for your time and best of luck this coming week at state.
Thank you.
With us now from the Central Cast Squirrels, that is Jaden Johnson here. And Jaden, let's just kind of recap the time in Harvey, the Region 2 dual champs, able to come out on top and make your way to state as a dual team. What does that just mean for the program to, be region champs and get back to a state tournament here?
Oh, it feels great. After being region champs last year, going back to back, proving that we were number one again. It's just a great feeling. We all had everyone throughout the lineup had great matches throughout the day. So it was just great to be there, great to wrestle, and I love getting first.
And then at the end of the day too, what's a memory or two that kind of comes to mind, whether it is with Central Cast, maybe it's, you're a little bit younger and you're going to watching someone or watching family or watching friends at a state tournament here, Jaden. So what's a memory or two that comes to mind worth wrestling?
Probably my best wrestling memory was last year at the region duels. We were the underdogs that time and we came up on top. We had a close duel with Carrington. We ended up winning, and that was really fun to be a part of. So that was probably my favorite wrestling memory.
And wrestling's a fun sport because you do have the team side, but you have the individual side. So from a wrestler point of view, how much are you, when it's the duels, how much are you the number one cheerleader? But then when it's individuals, how much do you kind of just have to sit there and focus? Is there a balance between the two a little bit from individuals and duels?
Oh, yeah, obviously you want to watch your teammates and hope they succeed, but when you're about to be up, like when you're in the hole or even before that just a little bit, you got to just start zoning in on your match and focus on yourself. And then when that is over, you can go back and start cheering on your teammates again.
What keeps you in the zone? If you know that you're in the hole or you're a couple matches away, what kind of gets you in rhythm and gets you ready to get on the mat?
Usually, they'll tell you what mat you're at and I go to that. And then I have my old uncle's jacket that I put on right over my singlet. And I just start pacing back and forth. Maybe I get into my stance a little bit, just doing a couple of warm-up things. And I'm just focusing on me. I'm not focusing on the match that's going on right now or anything. And I'm ready to go at any time.
Final thing for you, Jaden, there's so many really good tournaments out there, whether it's the postseason, whether it's the Lettermans or something in between. What is a favorite tournament for you to wrestle at and compete at?
I would say the Letterman's here. Obviously, wrestle in front of the home crowd. I did pretty good at the Letterman's tournament in here this year, and it's just fun to be a part of.
Hey, Jaden, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Dome at State.
All right, thank you.
With us now from the Central Cass Girls Wrestling Program, that is Emma Schneider. Emma, take us back through Carrington. How much fun was that for you to be part of the program and to be part of that East Region Dual Championship?
It was really fun. I'm happy to be a part of it.
And then at the end of the day, you also have your sister Lois on the wrestling program. Just what's that like? Do you guys literally wrestle at home and take that to the mat, or how much fun do you get to kind of have that with the sibling rivalry a little bit?
It's kind of hard because I make her mad, but it's fun wrestling her at home and all that.
How long have you been in wrestling, and what kind of made you want to go out for wrestling?
This will be my second year, and I kind of started because my sister, she couldn't do sports anymore, and I wanted to do that for her. So.
And you mentioned your second year. How much have you learned from year one to year two? How much have you seen yourself grow, in this second year here in wrestling?
So much. Last year, I didn't even get a pin, and this year I've had many. So I've grown a lot.
And at the end of the day, if someone wanted to ask you, why would you be a wrestler? Why should you give this sport a try? What would be a reason or two that you would say, give it an opportunity?
It makes you grow a lot and kind of give you like more strength in the real world. It just like shows you that not everything can go your way and all that, and just makes you grow as a person.
And then with this program as well here, Emma, how fun is it to see other wrestlers, other teammates continue to grow here throughout the couple seasons that girls wrestling has been sanctioned here in the state?
I'm so proud of like all of the girls who are doing it, because some of my friends, I've seen them like grow from like not doing anything to doing so much, and it's amazing.
Emma, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
Joining us now, Cassie Bartholomew from the Central Cass Girls as part of our state wrestling preview. And Cassie, let's recap Carrington. Always has to be a lot of fun. You guys have a bullseye, I know, on your back with the success from the girls program here the last couple of years. But what did it mean to come out as region champs here from the eastern side of the state from your point of view?
Oh, it was awesome because it proved that we could, because the last couple of years it's almost like we're doing good. We were all like, we had such a big team, but now it just kind of finalized that we are like where we're supposed to be. It just, made it seem not just because of numbers, and it's Yes.
And to your point, how much fun has it been to see the growth? I mean, there's been some girls who've been with the program since its inception. I know you probably lost one or two along the way with graduation and stuff, but how much fun is it to see the next generation, so to speak, coming through the system here from your point of view?
Oh, it's been awesome. I was here the first year that we did wrestling, and we had I think 9 the first year, and then you see all these girls coming out, and especially from other teams, and you're like, oh, I didn't see them last year, and you're like, there's just so many girls wrestlers now that is just amazing to see.
What is the reason someone should give wrestling a try from your point of view, particularly on the girls' side? I know in the past it's maybe been managers or somewhere on the boys' side. Then all of a sudden the girls had their opportunity to have their own and not have to wrestle in the same weight class as the boys. So if there's someone out there that's been teetering 50-50 on trying it out, what would be a reason from your point of view here, Cassie, that they should give it a shot?
I feel like the team, like what do you call it? Just the atmosphere that our team has. We're like family. Like we're there for each other on and off the mat. Like these are people that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. Coach wise, like I said, we're like family. It's just.
And then take us through the Carrington tournament. How much fun was the atmosphere like? And then once you kind of knew, okay, myself and maybe the others, this team were having a pretty good tournament, we have a chance to make some noise. What was that kind of like?
Oh, it was great. I remember like watching some of the girls do moves that we've been like working on during the week, and just like seeing them do it correctly and like pitting them out of it. It was awesome. The atmosphere was great. Everybody was cheering everybody on, and yes.
Favorite wrestling memory of all time? What's one or two? What's one that comes to mind?
That's hard because I feel like every time that I'm able to wrestle, like it's different for me. So I don't feel like I made like the best memory. It's just every time I wrestle, I feel like it's, part of the whole story, I guess.
I like it. Cassie, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at the Fargo Dome.
Yes, thank you.
Part of our 2023 state wrestling tournament preview for the Central Cass Squirrels, Cheyenne joined us now here. And Cheyenne, I've been asking and starting with a lot of your fellow teammates with the same question, able to win an East Region title up in Carrington. Just kind of what did that mean for you in this program to come out on top on the East Region?
It really meant a lot for me to be able to experience that with my teammates and be able to just come out on top in our region. It just meant a lot because our whole team had to put an effort into that, not just one single person. It was a lot of people, or all of our whole team.
And then how long have you been a wrestler, and just kind of what got you the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, let's put on the opportunity and get on the mat? What kind of came to mind? That's all right. I'll re-ask the question in 3, 2. And Cheyenne, how long have you been a wrestler? And then just kind of take us to background. What gave you the opportunity to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to put my head in the ring, so to speak, and get on the mat?
I've been wrestling since last year, so I've been wrestling for 2 years now. And what made me want to join would be the coach actually asked me if I wanted to wrestle, and I was hesitant at first because I'd never heard about it before. I knew we had a program for it the year before, but I just had never considered it, and I am so glad I did because it's changed.
And through these 2 years, Cheyenne, what's a memory or two that kind of comes to mind that's one of your favorites?
I'm not sure. I definitely was winning East Region champs with our team because that just meant a lot for all of us. And then going to state is it's so different than any other tournament. It feels nice to go to state. And
what makes this time in February so much different compared to November, December? You get to February here and it's kind of postseason wrestling. What just makes it different from your point of view here, Cheyenne?
I guess there's a lot more pressure, and then it's just
seeing my teammates grow and having everybody almost like at their best at this time. And it's just really awesome to see from where they started from where we are now.
Hey, Cheyenne, best of luck here at the Fargo, and congratulations on that East Region Championship.
Thank you.
With the Central Cass wrestling team, joining us now is Hunter for our state tournament wrestling preview. And Hunter, at the end of the day, able to get to another region dual championship. How fun was that to be a part of up in Harvey?
Well, it's kind of really fun going back to back and all that. Hope we do it next year.
And at the end of the day, Hunter, how excited are you to get back to the Fargo Dome and have a chance to compete at state?
I'm really excited for it. I can't wait till I get to wrestle again.
And for you, Hunter, how long have you been a wrestler, and just kind of what made you want to come out for the sport?
I've been wrestling since pre-K, and ever since my dad's been pushing me ever since to keep going, and it's really helped me.
What have you liked most about wrestling? What's a memory or two that comes to mind for you, Hunter?
Winning all the region titles.
Like to win the championships, no question about it. If someone asked you about, being a region champ or being a wrestler, what's one or two things that you would kind of tell them to have an opportunity to come out to wrestle if they've never wrestled before? Why should someone come out and have a chance to see what they got on the mat?
See, like, if they're good enough, good to get better at it, and maybe someday become a state champion.
Hey, Hunter, how much, what you mentioned some of the memories at the end, but how excited are you? You mentioned to have an opportunity to be back at the Dome, but how excited is the month of February as a wrestler compared to other times during the month with all these tournaments that you have coming up?
It's probably the best month of wrestling.
Hey, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck upcoming at state.
Thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cass Squirrels, it is John Call. And John, able to come out with a Region 2 championship on the dual side again, back-to-back seasons. How fun was that to be part of it up in Harvey and knowing that this team and this program is heading back to state?
Well, it was pretty fun as a team to just experience the 2-time region champs. And it was, we wrestled pretty good throughout the whole duel, so I thought we did pretty good, and the team was pretty excited for all of it.
How long have you been a wrestler, and kind of what made you want to come out for it?
I think I've been a wrestler since preschool, since when I was first able to function, I guess, but I don't know what really wanted me to come out for it. I think my dad told me about it, but I just thought it was fun in preschool, so I kept going through with it.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, what are some memories that you made here, John, through your time wrestling?
My favorite memories are probably with the bigger guys at the hotels when I got a room with them, and I just got to hang out with all of them.
It's one of those things where it kind of gets in your blood. And how much do you kind of train during the off season? Is wrestling your number one sport? What has wrestling kind of brought to you here, John?
Yeah, well, in the off season, I do a couple of camps and that type of stuff. But then wrestling's my only sport that I do right now. I did do a couple others, but that's about it. I just go to camps in the middle of the summer and all that.
So what's a favorite move of yours? If you can, sparring or on the mat, what's a move or two that you're looking to try to get to for one of your favorite ones?
Probably a sweep single. I love sweep single.
All right. And then from there, is this at the end of the day, how much are you looking up to older guys? How much the older guys talk with the younger guys? At the end of the day, it is an individual sport, but there is still that team camaraderie. How much have you seen that within the program?
Oh, on our team, there's a lot of it. The older guys are always picking up the younger guys, like the heavyweights are picking up the lighter weights. And it's just, we all get thrown around with the older guys. I mean, they like to tackle us and hurt us once in a while, but I love it. It's fun.
John, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at the Fargo Dome for the state tournament.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Joining us now from the Central Cass Squirrels on the girls' side is Shelby Sherman. And Shelby, let's recap what happened in Carrington, coming out as East Region champs. How fun was that to, come back home and know that you guys won the East Region?
That was a pretty fun win for us. That was our second duel with Carrington this year, and I think we outscored them by even more this one.
So that was good to see that improvement, and just knowing that Carrington didn't have any open spots. So we really had to work to get wins and not give up as many points as we did.
How fun is it to see this team continue to grow, both from a dual side, but also an individual side, with the amount of wrestlers that are out there in all these different, weight classes and divisions for Central Cass?
It's been so fun to see the improvement. I've seen some girls that just started this year who are already doing so well, and girls that, like, for me, I've been in this since our girls started, like, my sophomore year. And just to see, like, the seniors that have grown, and even the little 8th graders that we have, we've really grown as a team. And when we put it all together, we do really well as a dual team too.
Across the state, I know you obviously like competition and you want to beat the best and go up against the best, but how fun is it to see other teams continue to grow their program when you're going now to different tournaments, and maybe the girls can have their own tournament, like we saw this year in Castleton, their own version, so to speak, of the Letterman?
It's so fun to see other teams grow too. Carrington really didn't have any girls last year, and I feel like they're just dominating, and I question it all the time. I'm like, that's crazy, because they had no girls last year and they're just dominating. So that's really cool to see.
What is your favorite memory all time on the mat? What comes to mind, Shelby?
I'd say last year during the last day of my state tournament. So I was in a rut last year for pretty much the entire second half of the season, but I flipped the switch on that second day, and I was like, okay, I got to come back. I was the 5 seed at state and came back and got 4th. So I think about that day a lot and how much, like, I grew just from that day.
Take us through, because I always like to ask wrestlers this question. When you're going into a tournament, there's not just 2 dual mats or 3 mats, there's 8, once you get to state. How much do you have to stay focused when there's so much other things to maybe distract you a little bit from a wrestler point of view throughout the day?
You have to stay super focused, but I mean, it's just more like, you hear all these whistles and you hear a ton of coaches, and you just have to really zone in on what you're doing and really pick out your own coach's voice, which is nice because Travis really has a distinct voice.
Final thing for you, Shelby. Once you get to state, does that just feel like a big party, so to speak? I mean, obviously you want to perform well, you want to do well, you want to be focused, but do you feel like it's just the entire community of wrestling coming together to show appreciation, at all different levels? Is that kind of what is the best way to describe it from a wrestler point of view?
Yes, I love being in the community of wrestling. Like, I think wrestling doesn't get a lot of attention unless it's people that are in wrestling or that have family members that are in it. But I feel like once all those people are conjoined, like, it's a different family. I feel very supportive, even from the other coaches, the other teams, the other parents. They are all so supportive of everyone there.
Hey, Shelby, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at the Dome at State.
Thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cass Squirrels Wrestling program, that is Grace Lamar. And Grace, East Region champ. So what does that mean to you in this program?
It means a lot to me, how long we've been doing this and how it shows me how much wrestling has grown since I was a 7th grader.
And you mentioned, as a 7th grader, how much has the sport, not just the program, but how much has the sport from your eyes, Grace, last couple of years grown in the state for girls wrestling?
Oh, it's grown a whole lot. It's grown a whole lot. We have our own state days now. Instead of my 7th grade year, we only had 1 day of state, and now we have 2 days of state, including duels now.
It's one of those things, Grace, it's got to be a lot of fun. But even in the program at Central Cass, when you started out as a 7th grader to where you are now, how much fun has it been to see just more girls and more opportunities for a girls wrestling?
It's been really fun because I get to see a lot of my teammates grow in the sport, and I get to see them become better over the past few years, and it's really fun.
Favorite wrestling memory of all time would be?
Probably having my dad in my corner for like all of my matches. It's really nice.
And the funny thing is, talking with your brother Peyton too, it seems like wrestling is in your blood, at one point or another, and it doesn't get out of your blood. Do you feel like when you were growing up, your Grace said, okay, I'm probably going to be on the mat competing at some time or another?
Yeah.
Is this one of those things, once it's in your family, how much do you guys talk about wrestling? Is it 24/7? Is it more so during the wrestling season? Not how much do you guys kind of talk about wrestling?
I feel like when we're in the wrestling season, we kind of like help each other out, but we like keep to ourselves. And then like outside of wrestling season, it's like, oh, do you want to go to the Big Ten's tournament? Do you want to go here? Do you want to go here? So it's a lot.
And then when you get to this opportunity in February, what makes it different wrestling in February than any other time in the state in North Dakota? What makes this time of the year so much fun for a wrestler?
To me, I have a lot of pressure on my back, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's almost over. So let's just like make the most of it this last few weeks.
Well, thing for you, Grace, here, when you're at state, you're at the Fargo, there's 8 mats going, there's whistles everywhere, there's a lot of crowd cheering. What's that like when you're competing on the mat in front of that environment?
I just gotta zone out into my own mat and like not let the other matches get a hold of me and just focus on my match.
Grace, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at the Fargo.
Thank you.
With us now from the Central Cast Squirrels is Josiah Crandall here. And Josiah, I've asked a lot of guys this question to start back-to-back Region 2 dual champs. What does that mean from your point of view to head back to the Fargo Dome here and compete on the dual side?
It means a lot to me. Back-to-back is really nice, especially with the team that we had this year. We, come off of that state finalist, championship game in football, and then, you're right into wrestling. There is no break. And then, your bodies are just getting beat on. And we had a lot of injuries coming down the stretch, but we pulled it together here for the last week, and we got we handled business the way we were supposed to. It was nice to see all the guys just show up and wrestle and show like what we are capable of doing, especially going into state next week.
And going into state here, what is this time of wrestling like when you're in duels, you're in individuals, you're at state? What makes February wrestling so much different than, November, December, and January here, Josiah?
It's crazy. You come off that long month of January where you're going, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, multiple weeks in a row. You have tournaments every single week and you're always on the road to, coming down to the final stretch where you get, the long weeks of practice and you're just wrestling Saturday until you get to the state tournament. So, you have maybe a couple dings or bruises, from January, but then you gotta pull together and piece everything together February. And it's nice too, because, you have the week breaks in there to recover, to be fully ready, go on Saturday.
What is something from wrestling, 1 or 2 things that you think you're going to take away, whether it's been other sports, maybe it's been in the classroom or just, the normal part of life here, Josiah? What have you learned on the mat?
Never give up. You could be down 2, 3, 4, 5-0, and one big move and you're right back in it. So, it's the same way in life. You could be having a bad day, but one good thing happens, all of a sudden it changes your view on everything, and it's like, oh, maybe it wasn't such a bad day after all. And that's just the big thing is once you're down, don't give up. Just keep going one thing at a time, and everything will come back together.
Favorite wrestling memory of all time would be?
Probably taking first at Letterman's last year and being the MVP, just with the bracket that you have Justin Hudson, Cash Wadeson, Sawyer Owens, all those guys in the bracket, just to name a few, to come out on top. That was pretty cool. And then not only to take first, but then be the most valuable wrestler from 106 to 32 with however many good big name wrestlers you have in there. That was a big and huge special moment for me.
Hey, Josiah, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck moving forward at the state wrestling tournament at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
As we continue on our Central Cast state wrestling preview, with us now is Peyton Lamar. And Peyton, let's recap the Region 2 duels up in Harvey. What does it mean for this team to get back to the Fargo Dome as a team from the dual side after winning the Region 2 duels?
I think it's a really good thing. I mean, last year we went 0-2 at state. I think this year we're looking to come for a 3rd or 4th place finish. So we're pretty excited about it.
And at the end of the day, every state tournament, every tournament itself, it kind of encapsulates its own thing. But once you get to state, if someone's never wrestled in state before, how much are the guys talking to the wrestlers who've been there, have the experience, or to the others who maybe never been on a mat when there's 8 mats going at once and whistles going everywhere and a lot of crowd cheering here, Peyton?
Oh, we try to help them out if first year guy making it to state, trying to help them out as much as possible, giving them tips, try not to get in their own head, not be nervous as much. It's just another tournament, just go out and wrestle.
What makes wrestling so different or so fun compared to some of the other sports or activities that you play, Peyton?
I think it's just you one-on-one with another person. Other sports, you have teams. This one is just you going up against someone else on a mat. I mean, it's pretty much all it is, just one-on-one.
Is there a particular move? Again, I always tell wrestlers I'm not trying to give away any recipe or the secret sauce here when you come down to a mat, but is there a move or two that you've kind of been able to hone in on over the years here when you're able to get on the mat?
Spladle is a good one. I like to hit. And then I don't know, just any really shot I can get in on is nice too.
And at the end of the day, Payne, how much fun is it to see this program just continue to grow both from the girls and boys side here over the last couple seasons and see what Central Cass Wrestling can do, not just in Region 2, but across the state?
It's really cool. I mean, me and my dad always talk about it. Like, it's always fun to see how both teams are growing left and right. Like, they're just numbers are keep shooting up. So it's pretty cool.
In wrestling, I've always been told once it's in your blood, it's tough to get out. Is that very true with your dad when you were kind of growing up, maybe along the way, that wrestling was something that was going to be a part of your lifestyle once you kind of got to middle school and high school and so forth, your Payne?
Oh yeah, ever since I can remember, I've pretty much been wrestling. So I mean, pretty much always have been on a mat or in a gym watching a tournament. So pretty much whole life.
Final thing for you, Payne, before we let you go. Favorite wrestling memory of all time, whether it's with Central Cass or maybe it's a younger youth. What's just been a favorite wrestling memory for you?
Probably last year at Region Duels when we came in as a 4 seed and my friend Grady Link won it, pinned the kid and cradle to win the tournament, and the gym was really loud. That was probably my favorite.
Hey, Peyton, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here coming up at state.
Thank you.
From the Central Cass Squirrels Wrestling Program now as Nevaeh joined us here. Nevaeh, just take us through Carrington. They able to come out on top on the Dual East region. What did that mean for you in this program to come out as region champs?
For me, I'm a first year wrestler, so I was pretty excited about it. It took a lot to get there though. It was kind of a difficult day for some of us, but we all made it through on top.
And then, and Nevaeh, you mentioned being a first year wrestler. What just kind of made you want to give wrestling a try this season or go out this year?
Well, I kind of saw a lot of my other friends trying it out, and I was like, well, I think I might try it just to see how it goes. And my dad, when my dad was younger, he actually did wrestling, and no one else in my family's done it since my dad. So I was like, I guess I'll just be the only kid that does it.
So since your time here this first year, what have you kind of learned about wrestling?
Takes a lot of kind of being in your head, but also knowing when to get out of your head, because it's mainly mentally that you have to get into the sport. Like body wise, you got to keep like yourself healthy, and it's mainly just the mental part you have to get used to.
Nevaeh, if someone asked to be a wrestler today, tomorrow, and asked you why should someone go out for wrestling, what would your response be to that?
Definitely go for it. It is something I do not regret at all. I love this sport. It is probably one of my favorites. I've only done 2 other sports, and this one is so far my favorite.
What makes it your favorite? Why is this one that you probably, okay, I'm going to be a wrestler here for a little while longer?
Because I, coming in the beginning of the season, I was like, it's fine if I don't place at tournaments and stuff. And then I ended up placing at almost every tournament we've had. So it's pretty crazy.
And the final thing for you, Nevaeh, how excited are you to be wrestling at the Fargo Dome?
Very excited.
Nevaeh, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at the state wrestling tournament.
Thank you.
From the Central Cass Squirrels boys wrestling team, Jalen joined us now as part of our state wrestling preview. And Jalen, at the end of the day, we've been talking a lot about back-to-back dual champs. So what does that just mean for this program to go up to Harvey and win that second one here in back-to-back seasons?
Yeah, I mean, it's great for our team, great motivation. I think it shows the younger kids in like our Crushers wrestling program, shows them what they can look forward to. With Travis as being our coach, and what great opportunity that he gives us. Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity, great motivation for next year after we lose our seniors. Yeah, it feels great, honestly.
Jalen, when you take a look at this at the end of the day, and you mentioned the seniors and the next class coming through, how have you seen this program during your time in the program just continue to grow?
I mean, every year you think, oh, I don't think it's going to get bigger, but it does. We double or triple every year, it feels like, which is great. I think the way Travis coach or Mr. Lamar coaches, it's great. It brings in new kids every year. Everybody's just trying it, and it just expands our program, which is great for everybody.
What got you into wrestling, Jalen, at the end of the day?
Well, initially, my dad, brother, and both my brothers wrestled, and I was like, all right, if they can do it, I can sure do it. So I gave it a try, and it's just one of those sports that you just, once you start, you can't stop. It's that adrenaline, you just can't stop, and I'm still here, I guess.
What have you learned during your time on the mat that maybe has taken with you to, the classroom and just to the other parts of your life?
I mean, for sure, you can push yourself a lot. You can push your body a lot more than your brain thinks you can. Just the little life things, like where to move or what to do. Yeah, I mean, just for 100% for sure, you can push yourself a lot more, and you can do a lot more than you think you can, and don't hold yourself back.
What's your favorite memory all time in wrestling? It could be when you're a little kid to, from earlier this year or somewhere in between. What's your favorite memory all time, Jalen?
I'm going to say a favorite memory would be last year when we won region title for duels. The last match to decide it, we were tied up even, and that's how we won. It was a pretty tight match back and forth with double overtime. So it was pretty exciting and a great experience with the team. Brought us all together more.
Hey, Jalen, thanks so much for your time and best of luck at state.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Joining us now is Dylan Sell here for our Central Cass State Wrestling preview. And Dylan, first thing first, before we talk about recapping the Region 2 dual tournament up in Harvey, let's just talk about favorite memory all time from wrestling and individual duels, wherever it kind of goes, high school or maybe a little bit younger. Where does it kind of go for you here, Dylan?
Favorite wrestling memory is region duels last year. We're coming in as a 3 seed, knocking off Carrington in the finals. That was pretty exciting.
And how about this year? You guys obviously have the bullseye on your back, being that defending champ in Region 2, you have to make the trek up to Harvey. What did you see from your team to, earn that Region 2 dual championship yet again?
Yeah, I liked how our guys didn't go out just complacent. Like we were the 1 seed. We showed them why we were the 1 seed. No one just went out and coasted.
Is there a particular wrestling move that's better that you like to keep in your hip pocket, Dylan, or what's 1 or 2 moves that come to mind when you kind of know that you're in the zone there on the mat?
Well, if I'm feeling good and I know I can hit it on some guys, I like to go for a few shots like high crotches, a couple double legs, and if I need it, I can throw a headlock pretty well.
Is there a particular thing that comes to mind with wrestling compared to any other sports or anything else that you do, extracurricular wise? Why is wrestling just such a fun sport to be a part of, and why should someone, give it a try, throughout their time, in middle school and high school?
I think it's pretty fun, just the experience you have with all these guys. The bond that we have as a team is just unlike any other, and everything after you wrestle in life is pretty easy. So
have you been able to take wrestling and some stuff that you've learned from the coaches through other stuff, whether it's been sports or particularly football, or maybe just, just the normal 8 to 5, so to speak, of a daily life here, Dylan?
Yeah, in football, when things would seem like they're kind of crappy or just not as fun, then you think of a hard wrestling practice, and then you're like, this is easy compared to wrestling.
What has been there's the Store Hog, there's the Lettermans, there's East West, there's so many really good wrestling tournaments, Rumble on the Red, and then obviously once you get to postseason here in North Dakota with the individuals, the duels, and state itself, is there one tournament as a wrestler that you really want to perform well in, or is it, hey, I'm just taking the next match, that comes at you during a season here, Dylan?
I think I want to perform the best at our home tournament just because the home crowd and a lot of people know me around here, and I just want to perform well in front of them.
Last thing for you here before we let you go, is there I always like to ask coaches, I like to ask players this pre-game tradition, but is there a pre-match tradition when it comes to wrestling before you're going to get on the mat? Is there anything that you do specifically that kind of gets you in the rhythm and gets you in the zone?
Well, I usually have my headphones on or my AirPods in, and last couple of years I've been slapping myself before matches, just get the blood flowing. I don't know why I just started doing that.
Hey, Dylan, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at state.
Yeah, thank you.
From the Central Cass Squirrels, joining us now is Grady Link, and Grady able to win that Region 2 dual championship again back-to-back years. Just kind of what does that mean for you in this program here?
I mean, it feels really good. I mean, only a sophomore, but both years that I've been starting and been in high school, I mean, being able to win it feels really good.
And how long have you been on the wrestling team, or how long have you been wrestling here?
I've been wrestling since kindergarten, so all the years.
And what kind of got you out into wrestling right off the bat? Was it something your parents, your friends, or you said, hey, you know what, I want to give that a chance, Grady?
I think it's my grandpa and my uncle were big into wrestling when they were in high school, so I guess that kind of got me into it.
What has been a memory or two, whether it was when you were a little kid to kind of where you're at now in high school here, Grady? What's been a memory or two that kind of comes to mind about wrestling?
I mean, last year winning region duels, that was pretty special for me. And then, I mean, I guess I have some memories younger winning just a few tournaments. I think I won our home tournament when I was really, really young. But I mean, other than that, I guess I don't really have any memories from way back then. But
what makes February so much different to any other time of the year here for high school wrestling from a wrestler's point of view?
I think it's kind of a week to just put your head down and grind and just get ready for those regions. I mean, where it really matters. And I mean, you can kind of put everything else behind you, because it all really comes down to this weekend and then the weekend after, right?
And if someone was kind of teeter-tottering on going out for wrestling, you know, for next year or next season, what would be a reason that you would tell someone to give wrestling a try?
I mean, I guess everybody says the same. I mean, once you wrestle, everything else is easier. But I mean, and then I guess if you're in other sports, and it just gets you better all around.
Grady, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck at the Fargo Dome for state again this year.
Thank you.
The state wrestling tournament gets underway officially at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning from the Fargo Dome. Make sure you stay tuned to our audio-only coverage on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday and Friday is the individual portion of the tournament, while Saturday is the dual portion. The duels, again, for the Central Cass Squirrels will go up against Bismarck Century at 10 a.m. in the quarterfinals, while for the boys, they will go up against Northern Lights. Thanks to all that participated and joined here, as this is the state wrestling tournament preview for the Central Cass Squirrels boys and girls wrestling teams.